everybody wants to get united. Like, what we gotta do is meet everybody on 149th Street at the bench.
Not too long ago, I invited you guys for a bit of a challenge to see some of your guys' best work. And we're gonna take that work here in today's video and rate it on a scale from 1 to 10. Starting with this one right here. And Lex got some pretty straightforward letters, but check this out right here. He's also got himself a pretty nice throwy, something that I like a lot more than his straight letters he was showing us previously. And the reason for that is because this right here kind of exists in this weird gray area, where you're kind of doing a straight letter, but kind of a throwy at the same time. You have really simplistic letter structures that clearly are meant for utility. But I would say push these a little bit more, just slightly, right? They can still have that utility. They can still be simplistic enough to be utilized in a similar way to a throwy, but still have a little bit more structure. You already have a dope throwy, so it's not as if you need to use that straight letter-ish looking thing as your throwy. You have a throwy. It's a dope one at that. If you want to rock a throwy, rock this. This is sick looking. Look at that. Come on. Like, if you got the time to do this right here, then I recommend pushing it a little bit more. And don't get me wrong, you don't have to do a full-blown straight letter. You can still keep that nice middle ground. For example, your L is really blocky. There's not a curved line in there for the most part, but yet every other letter has these nice beautiful curves to it, even your K. So now because of that lack of letter uniformity and similarity, you begin to have a bit of a flow issue. So overall, I think I'd give this a good 6 out of 10. I think that's a pretty fair one. I like this work a lot. Now, if you're watching today's video and you're realizing that you can make some improvements to your graffiti, then check out our brand new book in the description down below. It covers each one of graffiti's fundamentals, and it'll help you evolve your style if you're a little bit more experienced, and if you're new, it'll help you get out of the toy phase. And I don't want to oversell this book. It's already helped thousands of people, so if you want to be one of those people who finds their style, then pick up the book in the description down below. Frost, we're gonna, I think I'm gonna give this a good 4 out of 10. There's a lot of extensions here that just don't make any sense. For example, you split this piece of the structure off the F, turn it into an extension, and this part doesn't really do anything while this is completely contrived. You do the same thing on the O, where you have the O structure right here. Technically, everything from this line over to the left is all extension because the structure is already complete at this point right here, and it shoots above the O over to the right with an arrow. So the thing we have to understand about extensions is the fact that they're a detail, and details in every art form are useless by nature, and they need to be given a fundamental reason to exist. That way they don't become a detriment to the other fundamentals. With each of the examples that we've shown here on this piece, none of these extensions really help any of the fundamentals to any degree, and they also don't happen consistently enough even if they did help the fundamentals. And that's where a lot of these issues come in. So definitely give that some thought for your future works. Now Andy runs into a very similar issue because his extensions, once again, they don't really serve much of a fundamental purpose, but they do happen enough. So he at least has that letter uniformity part down pat, but it's more so getting that fundamental use for the extension that we need to work on here. So let's kind of look at this piece, right? You have your cap line right here at the top of the E, and then you have your baseline right here at the bottom, and those are uniform throughout most of the letters. The issue is, if we take the cap line and we extend it, we see that the E's don't really reach that cap line. So then we ask ourselves, all right, well, could the E have reached the cap line if he just made it bigger? And the answer is, well, yeah, it could have actually made it to the cap line relatively easily without any issue at all. There's no fundamental reason as to why the E couldn't have done that. So this extension suddenly becomes really shoehorned because the E could have solved its own problem without any problem at all. But now let's look at an example of how he did the same exact concept in every way, but he pulled it off right. Check out the A and the N. The N is really short. It doesn't reach the baseline. And the N could have reached the baseline if he just extended this left-hand side of it, sure, but the A is positioned in such a way where it's in the way. So due to the letter N's letter positioning, and due to the A's letter positioning, the N can no longer extend its letter structure down to fill in that space. You see there's multiple fundamentals interacting here. So what does he do? He extends a serif from the A upwards to hold the N up. And now the N no longer has to reach the baseline because the A does that for the N. It fills that space. That's the same exact concept done well. There's a fundamental issue and he finds a fundamental fix. And he throws a little bit of style in there in order to make it all come together. Look at this, oh my god, dude, that's sick. I love this piece. Now this piece says Tasco. You can see the T there, you can see the A right here, the S comes around, variant structure, you got the K right there, and then the O at the end. And everything came together so beautifully. But you know, there is one thing, literally one thing that's got me tripping. Just one thing, and your soul made me feel it. And no one's gonna get that reference at all because I'm turning into an old man slowly, day by day, year by year. But it would be more consistent interior details. You have this little cut in the letter, you see it here on the A, and you see it again right over here, and I find myself asking, why doesn't that happen more? It's a small little thing, and it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. Let me make that part perfectly clear. As advanced artists, this is the kind of stuff that we have to begin to look at. We have to begin to analyze the deeper, more minute details of our work, because obviously the more advanced you are, the smaller your mistakes are. And you could even get a lot more in depth with this. You could say, all right, well, more shading on the occlusion shadows for the overlap, that would help this piece go a long way. More definitive highlights that are much more consistent, and that's what I would look at here. I would look at those highlights, I would make them more consistent, because they do come off as highlights. If they're not meant to, then I would work to define them more as an interior detail as opposed to a highlight. I would also begin to take these little like fading effects and take that further, push that more. It's a good little accent. It's a good little thing that you're adding to your letters, so why not integrate that more into your work? And you even have more fading over here on the side of the piece as well. And this time, that fade splits into different shapes. My mentor actually does something very similar to this, and he's a great example of somebody who took this concept and pushed it to the next level, if you will. Now, you don't have to do it the same way he does it. Obviously, that's not what I'm recommending, but you can have your own iteration of that. Nobody's got a patent on fading forms and fading shapes and colors, so take that and push it to your version of the next level. Next up, and this may not be correct, but it looks like you tried to shade a little bit of an occlusion shadow here, which is why I made the comment that I made earlier about occlusion shadows. That would be something that would really help you work out. Occlusion shadows are really gonna go a long way in separating different parts of your letters, and I think it'll help add a lot of depth as well, especially with the beautiful highlights that you have on here. And we even see this in your other work, where you have, once again, more fading forms, and you did make an effort to have darker values under overlaps in this one, as well as some more suggestive highlights with a soft blue. So I'm not really gonna get on the highlights in this specific case, but this brings us right back to the occlusion shadows and the fading forms and taking that to the next level. Overall though, this is gorgeous. This is beautiful. I love the way you did this, and I would give this a solid 10 out of 10. But dude, that pretty much wraps up today's video. Let me know what you guys think about the work in today's video, and if you want to learn more about graffiti, check out the best how to do graffiti playlist anywhere online, and I'll catch you guys back here next week. Thanks for watching.